he was asked about the Carson Wentz situation, and his response was very fascinating. You could tell that he had already thought about how he was going to answer this, and I don't know if we'll ever truly find out what the real story is, because at the time, it seemed like there was some Zambelli fireworks going off in the Philadelphia Eagles organization.
Yep.
Just a couple years ago, there was a statue built of Doug Pederson, Nick Foles, right out front. There was Philadelphians, okay, eating horse shit off the ground, off of a parade route, because the Philadelphia Eagles, for the first time in 50 years, won the Super Bowl. Who did it? Doug Pederson. Way to go, Doug.
Attaboy, Doug. Good win, Doug.
Nick Foles. Hey, here we go. Philly. He called it. They got a statue, okay, when they do the whole conversation, a full thing. Now here we are just a few years later. Nick Foles is on his second team since then. Pederson gets fired, walks out. Don't know how that goes. Carson Wentz, who you would think is why everybody else is. Nick Foles definitely left because of Carson Wentz. They chose to stick with Carson. Doug Pederson, he left because you thought maybe Carson. And now Carson's also gone. It has all gone to hell in a handbasket over there. It really is like a hornet's nest in Philadelphia. Doug Pederson really spoke about it for the first time, and his quote was fascinating. We're getting this via Pro Football Talk, and he said, you go into drafts and you go into each year looking for quarterbacks, Doug Pederson said during an appearance, and we continue to look for quarterbacks, and that's always something that will never change. We won a Super Bowl with our backup quarterback, and we've had to play with our backups a couple of times in Philadelphia. So we did that a year ago and brought in Jalen Hurts, not to undermine Carson Wentz, not to do anything to take away his job or anything, because Carson was our starter. He was the franchise and all that moving forward, but we wanted someone that could come in and could be the backup and learn how to play the NFL game, bring his talent to the Philadelphia Eagles. Then, and really, as the season began, says Doug Pederson, things just started to kind of, I guess, spiral out of control. Injuries began to set in. We weren't playing very well. Turnovers offensively, just a number of things. Penalties, more injuries, compounded problems. And it just became harder and harder as the year wore on. No one person is to blame for any of what happened last year. And it's just unfortunate for me, because I was hoping to really have an opportunity to fix the issues we had that kind of get everything back on track, whether it be this year or next year. And obviously, that didn't happen. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the ifs and buts. I just focus on the future and look forward to that. Fascinating comment. So he didn't want to leave, all right? Because whenever he left, it sounded as if Doug wanted the hell out of there, because there was potentially a situation brewing where they hired this young head coach and Doug Pederson with the understanding that you do what we tell you to do. Then Doug Pederson had a lot of success, went on, started becoming his own person, and there was potential differences of opinions on how the team should be run between Doug, owner, GM. That, I guess, is potentially still true, because they said they split or whatever. He says that he wanted to fix it. He was kind of shown the door. Interesting stuff. The first time Doug spoke out here at Tahoe really at length about it. I assume we'll continue to question what went on behind closed doors. Where did it blow up? How did this whole thing that just had a fucking statue made a couple years ago and people eating horse shit become this? We'll probably find out 10, 15, 20 years from now, but it seems like Doug really wanted to stay, and they told him to get the fuck on the road.
Well, and they drafted Jalen Hurts, but I don't think they told him that Carson was the future, because I think it was Darius Slay who came on here and said, hey, Jalen from day one was like, I'm going to compete. I want to compete. I want this, I want to have an opportunity to play, and I think that was something that affected Carson, right? Because mentally he was like kind of losing confidence because of the fact that they drafted a guy and because of the fact that he was coming in.
Did Carson say that? I don't remember what Carson said about the whole Jalen thing whenever he was sitting right here.
I thought he said that he had no feelings towards it. Like, it didn't bother him, is what I believe he said when he was here.
And then when he said he was playing bad, I think Carson took ownership of it. But it did feel all year, all reports, people who have any insight into Sal Palantonio, whatever they're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, is that there was quite a riff in the locker room.
And you think about when Bean came on the show, we want to empower Josh Allen. We don't want to bring Cam Newton in. They weren't empowering Wentz when they did that.
Yeah, and they trade up to make the pick, right? Didn't they? They trade up. Did they trade second round? I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember. Because second round, last pick of the second round, they draft Kyle Trask down there in Tampa.
Yeah.
Asked Tom about it. Tom's like, yeah, whatever, man. Tom's also 40-some years old or whatever. Carson, I guess the Jalen thing, if you look at it as a human, you could see how Carson's like, what the hell? You guys didn't even give me a heads up, maybe, or what? I don't know how the whole thing played. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it went bad quick. And I didn't know Doug wanted to stay. Is that why he put in Sudfeld? Or what did he put in?
But it's not like the Eagles had weapons either. Like there were so many other pieces they needed to draft.
And the offensive line
Yeah, it was terrible.
got hurt. Injuries
Brutal.
did happen. I wonder if it was just we need to go separate ways, or did Doug want to have more say and they said no? Hopefully one day we'll find out the real truth. But
And with the Sudfeld stuff, it seemed like the narrative kind of towards the end there, it like became like, well, is Doug Pederson really even that good of a coach? Like, how much did he have to do with them winning the Super Bowl? I would assume that whenever he's ready to come back, he's going to get a job immediately, isn't he?
yeah, I think
Well,
so.
and that
in this
screenshot.
next head coaching.
Yeah, the next cycle.
Yeah, because this was like when Rivera. Remember Ron Rivera? Was it week 4 or week 6 maybe? I forget what it was. New ownership came in and said, "Hey Ron, we're going to go a different direction for the future. We appreciate and respect you." Allegedly, this is what was said. Ron took it, and then the Panthers went their different way. They had an interim. Then they brought in Matt Rule for $70 million. You know that whole thing. But is Doug Pederson going to be the guy week 13, 14, 15 when a coach has already been fired, maybe in the box like Urban Meyer was or Ron Rivera was doing in places? Is this a potential Doug gets to pick where he wants to go thing? Especially with Bieniemy, if they have another year, everybody assumes he's at least going to get a chance to get a head coaching job. I put Doug Pederson with a Super Bowl, and I think he's pretty well liked. He's at Tahoe right now,
Yeah.
so he must be pretty social with me. Yeah, he's probably going to get a job whenever he wants it, probably, huh?
I assume so. I mean, I don't know, because it was weird, because I feel like that the narrative did kind of just change, and they kind of made him out to be like, oh, Doug Peterson's a shitty coach. That's why he's getting fired.
Yeah, and he's the one that benched Carson. It was his
Exactly.
fault that
He's
Carson.
the one playing Sudfeld.
The narrative was very much a Doug Pederson kind of, and now
Yeah.
Doug's like, no, I wanted to get it fixed or whatever. Now, who knows who's rewriting?
Right. I mean, if he's trying to get another job, it would make sense that he's.
But we don't know him.
No,
We
right.
don't know him well enough. We're
Right.
just saying that is a potential option here that he is potentially trying to write a way that it went.
Well,
as
and there's that shot of the sideline where Carson was over here
No,
and
no,
he was
no.
next to Jalen, and that whole, I mean, obviously it was
Carson
much
said he
different.
wasn't even looking at it.
Not even looking at him, but from like the outside looking in, it was like, oh, Doug Peterson hates Carson Wentz. He doesn't
get-
want him to play.
let's